We have current events. It is April 15th, 2024. I would like to welcome you back to the foundation. I am Sot L, seeker of truth L, speaker of truth L. No, I didn't get taken away by the men in black. I didn't disappear. I'm here. Just needed a little time off, y'all. You know how it is, right? But here we go. We're back with current events. We got an exciting week. I mean, that stuff is happening. You know, I was going to be gone a little longer, but I guess not. But it's a luxurious feeling to be back with you. Make sure you check out welcome to thefoundation.com. Sign up for the email list, bottom right corner. Here it is. You do your dance right there. Also, we have the most comprehensive private trust administration training available, period. I don't know about other languages, but, you know, as far as English goes, we got this on lock. Have you ever wanted to start your own private trust estate? Have you heard about private trusts, Massachusetts trust, common law trust? They're known by many names. You know, the United States is getting very, very predatory. States are becoming predatory as well. I know a lot of people have been looking into this, trying to get it going. And, you know, maybe you didn't have the correct instructor. You didn't have the correct training set up. I don't know what happened, man. But, you know, we deal with a lot of people who have had previous training in trust administration. Most people are just looking for trusts themselves. We can't do that. Apologies. The foundation, we do not sell trust. We are a private educational firm. What that means is we provide education. Educational materials come along with the training. But, you know, if you understand what I'm saying, you know, I have air quotes with my fingers, you know. So, you know, check it out. Link in the description of this video. We have the How to Start a Business, a very extensive class. Yours truly did double major in college in international business and sales and marketing. So this is me right here. This isn't something I just, you know, found on the internet and just repurposed or anything. This is the dance. Now, if you may not know, but I was successful in bringing a brand international. I absolutely was, actually in my mid-20s. After college, you know, I did my dance. So, you know, I'm not the man, but, you know, I know a little bit about a little bit. And last but not least, we have this Foundation magazine subscription, digital, physical. People really like this stuff. I've gotten a lot of feedback. People like holding a magazine in their hands. People like the smell of the magazine. You know, we're kind of bringing it back. New school, if you're new school, we got the digital version. We send PDFs out. It's some luxurious dancing. If you want to sign up for our Foundation magazine, link in the description. No pressure, though. No pressure. Let's jump into this. CNBC, Iranian currency plunges to record low against dollar after strikes on Israel. Yeah. So Iran, they attacked Israel. It's crazy. Iran's currency, the rial, briefly plunged to a record low against the dollar on the unofficial market after Tehran launched an expansive missile and drone attack on Israel Saturday night, exacerbating tensions in the Middle East. I don't see this as a positive development at all. Did see this coming. I know you have Iran. There's Russia. We're watching out for China to step to the forefront. You know, Taiwan is you know, it's a powder keg. Let me just say that. This stuff is escalating by the day. You see what gold is doing. You see what silver is doing. Matter of fact, let's do this live. Let's do this absolutely live. Let me open a new tab here, doing the dance, right? Let's go to Kitco. I usually don't do this, right? But we doing this live. Let's go to kitco.com. This is what I like. Oop, internet is slow, son. What's happening? Oh, we got hacked, B. Just playing. All metals quotes. Let me hit on that. And then let's look at this. Look, Check this out. 2350 for gold, 2865 for silver. I don't see that, changing anytime soon at all. I really don't. And if you have a position in precious metals, good. If you don't, I think we're working on setting up a way to where the foundation can facilitate you grabbing precious metals. If you're interested, hit me up with an email, admin@welcometothefoundation.com. We're just trying to take care of y'all because we're going to have a lot of predators entering this market. Predatory, dancing, all around. CNBC, surging inflation fears sent markets tumbling and Fed officials scrambling. So investors, consumers, policymakers, and economists have been caught off guard with how stubborn price pressure have been to start in 2024. We weren't caught off guard. We knew inflation was not going to be transitory. We didn't believe any of that Federal Reserve rhetoric at all. And look, what I'm going to say about inflation is it's going to get a lot worse. It's going to get a lot worse. The early data is in for the path of inflation during the first 3 months of 2024. And the news so far is, well, not good. Pick your poison, whether it's prices at the register or wholesale input costs. While inflation is off to a blistering pace, off 2022. I think I understand what you're trying to do there. It doesn't appear to be going away anytime soon. We knew that. Future expectations also have been drifting higher. Investors, consumers, and policymakers, even economists, have been caught off guard with just how stubborn price pressures have been to start 2024. If you are a listener of the foundation, you knew this was coming years ago. We've been talking about this for years. And here it is. We're going to see gold prices, silver prices, commodities prices, corn, wheat, natural gas, petroleum, gas prices. All this stuff is about to hit the roof and it's going to go crazy. So if you want to start stocking up on, certain things that you like now that maybe if you didn't have money for in a couple months, you wouldn't buy, That's where I would start. Gold and silver, absolutely. Absolutely. You want to protect your purchasing power because this dollar is about to do a dance. That was weird. Okay, make it. CNBC, the 14 U.S. states where you can still afford to buy a home if you earn less than $75,000 a year. Only 14 states out of 50 where you can afford to buy a home if you earn less than 75 grand a year. And that's most of us. Let's jump to the list. Mississippi, Ohio, Arkansas, Indiana, Kentucky, Iowa, Oklahoma, Michigan, Missouri, Louisiana, Alabama, Kansas, North Dakota, and West Virginia. Median price homes in the states cost $300,000 or less, a significant discount compared with the U.S. median price of $402,343. While these 14 states may have cheaper properties available, there are trade-offs to consider, like higher rates of poverty and fewer high-paying jobs compared with the rest of the country. Many of them are among the most rural in the United States, and incomes in rural areas tend to be lower than in large urban cities. Just means, to me, it's like, well, the median income is lower in these states, so supply and demand. If there's less supply of money or, currency, Federal Reserve notes, there's the demand for high price homes is going to be low. So, those prices, if you want to sell something, you're going to have to, work with that market. Look at this. CNN, Americans are saving less these days. Here's why and what it means. Why is inflation? It's absolutely because due to inflation. The personal savings rate fell to 3.6% in February, the lowest level in more than a year. And in recent years, it has hovered below levels seen in the decade before 2022. That may just be a continuation of a long-term trend. Americans, quote, have consistently saved less in the aftermath of each recession than they did in the prior cycle, end quote. Sounds to me like by every recession that hits, Americans are saving less and less. If you kind of flip if you flip the market, or at least your perspective on the market or the markets, right? Let's just talk in particular right now. Let's just talk about the job markets, right? If you have consumers that are, driving the economy, and you're on the other side of the economy. So let's say that you're government and you're looking to squeeze as much money as you possibly can out of this consumer base, whether it's via taxes or through currency inflation or actually currency depreciation. You want to pay attention to the savings rate. A higher savings rate from the standpoint of a government who needs that money is a bad thing. A lower savings rate from the standpoint of a government who needs money is a good thing, which means if the American population is saving less, then that means that there's more access to the currency that's flowing from the government. Now, does the government want money necessarily? I don't think so. I think what the government needs itself is energy, human energy. And if you look into, the Wealth of Nations, that old book, and the division of labor, you understand conceptually what's happening here. But basically what's going on is, after every recession cycle, there's a boom cycle and then a recession or depression cycle. After every recession or depression cycle, the consumers or the American public are saving less than they did in the previous cycle. That's a loss for us, but that's a win for the governments. CNBC, state tax officials are using AI to go after wealthy payers. Wealthy, and they say just wealthy. So they want you to not understand. But when it comes to inflation, right? They could put the wealth cap at, let's say, $500,000 a year, right? You got inflation, so it takes more dollars to get stuff. There's more, increases in the minimum wage. You got to go into $20 in a lot of places. Some places going higher. So as the currency reduces value, or reduces in its value, you're going to need more of the currency to do things. And my contention is, these levels that they're putting these wealthy numbers at are going to be the common numbers in a year or two, maybe 3. I don't know, man. And this is something to pay attention to. In New York, the tax department reported 771,000 audits in 2022. This is up 56% from the previous year, according to the State Department of Taxation and Finance. At the same time, the number of auditors in New York declined by 5% to under 200 due to tight budgets. The state is sending out hundreds of thousands of AI-generated letters looking for revenue, many of them focused on remote work or a change in tax residency. Even the IRS makes headlines for cracking down on the wealthy. State tax collectors have become even more aggressive with audits of high earners, according to tax attorneys and accountants. This is not just for high earners, y'all. And you got to understand what this means. This is the states looking for revenue. This is not just the federal government. Most people are responsible for a state return and a federal return. Unless you're, private, you have to worry about that state return. As these states lose more and more money, as states such as New York and California lose more and more revenue taxpayers, they're going to become more and more predatory in their taxation and in their fee systems and schedules. Be on the lookout for that. What we got popping right here, more people are working well past retirement age, and it's not easy. And this is a sign of the times. If you have, our elderly population that have to stay in the workforce longer to pay their bills because their cost of living has raised and their Social Security payments no longer cover it, their retirement payments no longer cover their living expenses. They have to get back into the workforce. And what does that mean? That means that the younger generations don't have that opportunity to enter the workforce. This is not good for an economy. Hope Murray retired in 2013 after a 50-year career that ranged from game show producer to Hollywood party planner to casino executive. She settled into a life of golf, game nights, and pickleball in her San Diego community, her daughter living nearby. Then things got more expensive. Gas was nearly $5 a gallon. Medication costs were adding up. The grocery bill was increasing, so she downsized, stopped driving as much, and waited longer between haircuts. But she could no longer afford some of her medications. Quote, it got kind of scary. I needed some extra money coming in, end quote. This is what Murray said. So last October, at the age of 80, Murray ended her retirement and got a job giving out samples at Costco. She likes observing the people. Some go grocery shopping in heels and a full face of makeup, and others wear pajamas and slippers. Some people take one sample, others gobble 3 or 4. Quote, it just comes into my checking account every other week, and I can pay for everything, end quote. She said of her $18 an hour paycheck. Quote, my plan was to put the checks into a savings account, but it didn't work out that way. I had to use it for cost of living. See what's going on, y'all? This is happening everywhere. And it's going to continue. CNBC, oil prices could see super spike well above $100 a barrel if conflict escalates after Iran's attack on Israel. And I'm telling you, look, it's going to escalate. Netanyahu, they were doing protests. You know, I don't really talk politics here, but I pay heavy attention to geopolitics. Heavy attention. You got President Netanyahu, population. There was a lot of protests going on with that dude. Now he has a reason to, you know, get his population behind him. He is not going to pass up this opportunity at all. Oil prices could soar over $100 a barrel and beyond, said market watchers, after Iran mounted an aerial attack against Israel, reignited fears of a regional war. $100 a barrel oil, I'm going to tell you, oil prices affect everything. Think about shipping. You need diesel fuel, the fuel for ships, the fuel for flights. You need the fuel for trucks to ship the things after they get off the ships or get off of the airplanes or they get off of the trains. The trucks have to come and bring it to, you know, the distribution centers. And then from the distribution centers, the trucks have to distribute it. And a lot of times across the regions and in some companies, all across the states, as well as, you know, Mexico. We have Canada up there. I do that jokingly, but I've had people from Canada like really take issue with the way I pronounce Canada. I used to say Arkansas different too, more like Kansas. Someone took issue with that. It's all in good fun, but I don't want to offend anybody. But we do have the North American continent. And, you know, there's goods that are shipped all throughout the North American continent. What I'm telling you, think of everything that's shipped from socks to bologna. Everything comes in on a ship, a plane, and then is distributed through semi trucks and smaller light duty trucks. If gasoline, diesel, regular, all of it, when that rises, when you get to $100 a barrel, that's what I'm saying. We got to prepare. If you have anything that you want to get done now, if you're holding off on doing something, purchasing something, hey, man, I think this should motivate you. Russia and China trade new copper disguised as scrap to skirt taxes and sanctions. Reuters. The more trade and commercial activity that happens outside of Western currencies, euro, dollar, the higher prices are going to be in Western countries. This is huge. And for all of y'all that have been saving your pennies and your nickels, pennies, 1982 and prior, nickels, I just keep them all. You will understand why. When this commodity super boom hits, you will be happy that you did. Russian Copper Company, RCC, and Chinese firms have avoided taxes and skirted the impact of Western sanctions by trading in new copper wire rod disguised as scrap. Three sources familiar with the matter told Reuters. Copper wire rod was shredded in the remote Xinjiang Uyghur region. I tried, y'all. Hopefully I did that right. By an intermediary to make it hard to distinguish from scrap, the sources said, allowing both exporters and importers to profit from differences in tariffs applied to scrap and new metal. Russia's export duty on copper rod was 7% in December, lower than the 10% levy on scrap. Imports of copper rod into China are taxed at 4%, and there is no duty on Russian scrap imports. They're making money off the arbitrage. And look, you know who's losing? The West. The West is losing hope of rescue. And this is good news for the U.S. European solar firms head to the United States. That's jobs, y'all. That's jobs. European governments due to move to support their solar power manufacturers this week will be too late to stop solar panel maker Meyer Burger packing up a German factory to send production to the United States. The plant in Friedberg in eastern Germany closed in mid-March with a loss of 500 jobs as the Swiss-listed firm joined a growing list of European renewable energy manufacturing factories shutting down or moving in the past year. At least 10 have said they are in financial difficulties. On a recent visit to the site, giant white robotic arms hung dormant over empty wooden pallets as workers prepared the last production line for shutdown. Talks with the German federal government to try to secure a future for the factory ended without success in late March. A company spokesperson told Reuters. Could be 500 jobs, could be a few more. Let's keep it moving. We got a couple left to do. Background screening firm Checker cuts 32% of its workforce. You guys thought the layoffs were done? Oh, no. No, they continue. Background screening platform Checker has cut 382 jobs, or 32% of its workforce. A person familiar with the matter said last Wednesday, the latest company in the tech industry to resort to layoffs to reduce costs in an uncertain economy. The layoffs would allow it to, quote, operate more efficiently and ensure long-term health, end quote, of its business. Checker said, yep, the easiest cost to reduce is the cost of labor. It's the fastest thing you can do. Tesla will lay off more than 10% of its global workforce. Is that more? I think they did that. This is according to the CEO, Elon Musk. Quote, as we prepare the company for our next phase of growth, it is extremely important to look at every aspect of the company for cost reductions and increasing productivity. As part of this effort, we have done a thorough review of the organization and made the difficult decision to reduce our headcount by more than 10% globally, end quote. You're going to see more and more of that. Oh, AI is threatening Americans' jobs. Could guaranteed income provide a safety net? Here comes Universal Basic Income, also known as UBI. You got to look into Fed Wallet. It's called FedNow, FEDNOW. Do a search on it. You think I'm playing? Central bank digital currencies are coming, and they're coming very soon. The implications are a level of magnitude beyond what I could describe in this current events. But you got immediate taxation, immediate fines, immediate duties paid, service fees, so on and so forth that can be pulled from that FedNow wallet. You got to look at this. Michael Tubbs was born and raised in Stockton, roughly 1 hour drive from Silicon Valley, the birthplace of the AI revolution. But despite coming of age in big tech's backyard, the America that Tubbs grew up in was marked by scarcity and poverty, he told CNN. Tubbs, who's 33, was born to a teenage mother. Who cares, man? It doesn't matter. His own experience led him to think about different ways that the wealthiest country in the world could help ameliorate poverty. When Tubbs went on to become the first black mayor of his hometown in 2016, he spearheaded a guaranteed income pilot program in 2019 that did something simple yet radical: give out free money with no strings attached. The idea of guaranteed income is receiving renewed interest as AI becomes an increasing threat to Americans' livelihoods. That's the International Monetary Fund. Nearly 40% of global employment could be disrupted by artificial intelligence. This is according to the International Monetary Fund. Global policymakers and business leaders are now increasingly warning that the rise of artificial intelligence will likely have profound impacts on the labor market and could put millions of people out of work in the years ahead, while also creating new and different jobs in the process. Sure, the International Monetary Fund warned earlier this year that some 40% of jobs around the world could be affected by the rise of AI, and that this trend will likely deepen the already cavernous gulf between the haves and the have-nots As more Americans' jobs are increasingly at risk due to the threat of AI, Tubbs and other proponents of guaranteed income say this could be one solution to help provide a safety net and cushion the expected blow AI will have on the labor market. Quote, "We don't really do a good job at designing policies or doing things in times of crisis," end quote. Tubbs told CNN, saying it is urgent to start planning for guaranteed income programs before we see 40% of global jobs taken by artificial intelligence. I would say with the artificial intelligence programs with the IRS and state and local governments and tax authorities, with artificial intelligence taking jobs, AI has gone adversarial. U.S. Postal Service wants to hike stamp prices again. Here's how much you'll pay. The U.S. Postal Service filed a notice with its regulators to increase prices on first-class forever stamps to 73 cents from 68 cents, marking yet another price hike for the financially beleaguered federal agency. If approved, by the Postal Regulatory Commission, the change would take effect in July, raising the cost of mailing services products by nearly 8%. Y'all see this inflation? It's everywhere. It's ubiquitous. It is proliferating. Stamp prices alone have soared 36% since 2019. 36% inflation. You know what 2019 was? Right before the panorama. Man, you know, sometimes I wish I was correct and right about predictions with regards to like world peace and people winning the lottery, I guess, you know. But this is what I do. The Postal Service last raised first-class stamp prices by 2 cents in January, just a few months after it raised prices 3 cents in July 2023. And this, you got to remember, y'all, they extended the shipping time of first-class mail. So, like, it's not even 2 to 3 days. It's like 5 days. You got to mark. So you're going to pay more for slower mail service. Ouch face. Stubbornly high U.S. inflation grew stronger than expected in March. Stronger than expected, huh? Whose expectations are you referencing? Surging gas prices and sky-high mortgages and rent sent inflation rising more than expected in March, adding to Americans' prolonged and painful battle with high costs that could force the Federal Reserve to keep its punishing rates higher for longer. U.S. consumer, what? Y'all heard that, right? U.S. consumer prices picked up again last month, vaulting to a 3.5% increase for the 12 months ending in March, according to the latest consumer price index data released Wednesday by the Bureau of Labor Statistics. That's up considerably from February's 3.2% and marks the highest annual gain in the past 6 months. Wednesday's report further highlights that the path to lower inflation remains extremely bumpy and non-existent, I would say, and continue to be a drag on the Americans' hard-earned finances, and that any loosening of monetary policy might not happen soon. Might not happen soon. What do you mean might? It's not going to happen, y'all. Roku says more than 500,000 accounts were impacted in a cyber attack. Listen, with these Roku TVs, they're cheap, right? They're cheap. That's what, and people like these Roku TVs. And what's the other one? The other one is the Amazon TVs, Alexa TVs, all this stuff, right? So they're cheap because they're selling your data. You connect these TVs to the internet. You connect your television to the internet, man, and you make a little account with your email and all this dance, man. And they're collecting location data, watch history data, search data, all types of stuff, network data. These things will scan your network to see what other devices on your network. It's absolutely not safe when it comes to, you know, security and privacy. And that's why with the Foundation magazine, we did the security privacy issues, because this is a big thing. Now, what I'm going to tell you, this is what I do. I never connect these TVs to the internet, ever. What I do is I will connect my computer to the TV and connect that to the internet. You got Raspberry Pis, small board computers. If you're technology inclined, you should look into Raspberry Pis and SMBs, small board computers, or SBMs, or whatever. Also, there's older computers. The computers that maybe are sitting around somewhere. I use those as like entertainment centers. Throw an extra hard drive in those things, throw some movies, TV shows on there, connect it to a TV, and I have a wireless keyboard. You go to microcenter.com. They got this little keyboard. It's made by RII, R-I-I. It's a RII Mini. It's a keyboard with a touchpad. It fits in your hand. It's about the size of a phone. It's really light. So the days of actual having a mouse and a keyboard are over. The reason why I do that is because I know that the privacy policies on these smart TVs is ridiculous. And I never connect them to the internet. You always connect a computer that you have more control, whether it's a Mac or a Windows PC or a small board computer or whatever. SBC, doesn't matter. And I use that. Now, all I need is a web browser. I use Firefox as the web browser, and I also use FreeTube, which is a privacy front end for YouTube. Don't have to watch ads, don't have to do none of that stuff. It's a little wonky, but this is what I use, right? Do not connect your TVs to your internet. Don't do it. Streaming service provider Roku said Friday it identified a second cyber attack that impacted about 576,000 additional accounts while investigating a breach that affected 15,000 accounts. That's crazy. The company, which had more than 80 million active accounts, said the hackers did not gain access to any sensitive information such as full credit card numbers or other payment details. Roku shares were down about 2% in early trading. However, the company said it identified less than 400 cases where the information was used to make unauthorized purchases of streaming service subscriptions and hardware products using the payment method stored on the accounts. I don't store any payment methods on accounts. There's your credit card. Like if you log into your credit card account, they have like scrambled credit card numbers that you can use. Like privacy is very, very important. This is big. A lot of people just connect the TV. They follow the directions on screen. They connect the TV, connect the HDMI cable from the TV to your computer. In your computer, you can run ad blocking software on your computer. You can run a VPN application on your computer. You can really, really step up your privacy. Use these cheap TVs. Don't connect them to the internet. Collaborative Robotics raises $100 million amid robots funding boom. U.S. startup Collaborative Robotics said last Wednesday it raised $100 million in a Series B funding round as investors bet on a new generation of robots incorporated with artificial intelligence capabilities. Remember that a couple weeks ago I showed y'all that guy? He said they're creating minds and bodies. That's what they're doing, minds and bodies. The round, valuing Cobot at over $500 million, was led by General Catalyst. Existing investors, including Sequoia Capital, Khosla Ventures, and the Mayo Clinic, also participated, bringing the company's total funding to more than $140 million. And I can see this, right? I could definitely see in the near future, artificial intelligence and robotic arms will be doing most of the crazy surgeries that are required. They're just way more precise than human hands. That's the good thing. AI is threatening American jobs. Could guaranteed income provide the safety net? That's a good question. Look at these precious metals prices, y'all. We just got to pay attention to what's going on. I'm trying to show you what's happening. We have a system. There's two main systems of money in economies: money of exchange and money of account. These are two different systems, right? We are in a money of account system. We are going to transition no matter what these people in government want. We are going to transition to a money of exchange system. It's going to happen, which means you need true value assets, intrinsic value, gold, silver, I don't care what the coin, if it's a square, if it's a hook, if it's made in the shape of a canary bird, the intrinsic value is the actual element itself, the metal itself. It has value based off of perceived value of this paper because what it's written on. And listen, just try to flip your mind to true value versus perceived value. Start looking at things differently. Definitely start looking at things differently. Wow, what did I say? I don't know what I said. I appreciate y'all checking out the current events. I'm back. Nothing happened to me. I'm fine. I'm healthy. I'm luxurious as ever. Just, I had some things I had to take care of, some personal private estate dances. It's all love though. It's nothing negative. It's all positive. And, like as I said, life is luxurious. I appreciate everyone reaching out, making sure I was okay. I'm very surprised. I'm taken aback. I'm flattered. I'm honored. And it just lets me know, you guys check for me. You check for the foundation. We appreciate that. Definitely appreciate that. We're not going anywhere, y'all. I'm staying healthy. I don't eat pork, beef. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. All I do is the tree. I stay healthy. Y'all, I'm going to be here for a while, y'all. Y'all have a great day. Enjoy yourself. Take care of yourself. Make sure you say 10 things that you're thankful for before you go to sleep tonight and every night. It is very important. I will catch you tomorrow on Current Events. My name is Sot, L, Seeker of Truth, L, Speaker of Truth, L. And you enjoy yourself. Peace, y'all.